The old man moved into the house next door during winter. Nobody helped him unpack. Nobody visited him. He arrived alone, and from the first night, something felt wrong. Every night, at exactly 1:14 a.m., a soft whistle came from outside. A slow, broken whistle. At first, I thought it was the wind, but then I realized the sound always stopped directly under my bedroom window. That was the part that terrified me, because our house had a tall fence. No normal person could stand there quietly in the dark. Still, every night, the whistle returned, slow, cold, patient, and each night, it sounded closer. One night, the whistle suddenly stopped. The silence felt worse, much worse. Then, I heard something scrape against my wall outside. Scratch, scratch, scratch. It sounded like fingernails. My heart started pounding. I wanted to wake my parents, but I was too scared to move. And then, the whistling started again. But this time, it came from inside the house. My body froze instantly. The whistle echoed softly through the hallway. Slow, broken, like somebody trying to breathe. I slowly looked toward my bedroom door. The hallway outside was dark, completely dark, but I could hear footsteps. Step, step, step. Very slow, very heavy. The footsteps stopped outside my room. I covered my mouth to stop breathing loudly. Then, my doorknob moved. Click. Very slowly, like somebody was trying not to make noise. I stared at the door, too scared to blink. The door opened a little, just enough for darkness to enter the room. And then, the whistling stopped. For a few seconds, there was complete silence. But suddenly, a deep voice whispered from the hallway. I finally found the right house. There was a house at the end of our street that everybody avoided. The windows were covered with black curtains. The grass was dead. And every night, a weak light appeared inside the attic. My neighbor told me something strange. He said nobody had lived there for years. But every night, somebody stood in the attic window. I laughed at first. I thought he was joking. But later that night, I looked at the house myself. And that was my biggest mistake. Because standing behind the attic glass was a woman. She looked old, very old. Her face looked pale, and her eyes, they looked completely black. She did not move. She did not blink. She just stared down at the street, watching, waiting. And then the attic light suddenly turned off. But somehow, I could still see her face. My chest felt tight. I stepped away from the window, but something told me she was still watching. So I looked again, and this time, the attic window was empty. The woman was gone. I felt relief for 1 second. Only 1 second. Because then, my phone vibrated. A new message appeared. But I never gave my number to anyone in that neighborhood. My hands started shaking. I opened the message slowly, and my blood turned cold. It said, "Look behind you." I could barely breathe. I turned slowly toward my bedroom door and saw wet footprints leading inside my room. When we moved into the apartment, my mother warned me about the basement. She said the landlord never opened it, and nobody was allowed inside. At first, I did not care, but every night, a strange yellow light appeared under the basement door. The hallway downstairs always smelled wet, like mold, and something rotten. One night, the power went out in the whole building. Everything became dark. No lights, no sound. But then, I noticed something terrifying. The basement light was still on, a weak yellow glow under the door. That made no sense. The entire building had no electricity. So why was there still light downstairs? And then, I heard chains moving under the floor. Clink, drag, clink. The sound moved slowly closer. My legs felt weak. I wanted to run upstairs, but the basement door suddenly shook. Bang! I almost screamed. Then, the chain stopped moving. The hallway became silent again. But seconds later, something started knocking softly from the other side. Knock, knock, knock. Not loud, almost gentle, like somebody trapped inside. And then, a voice whispered through the door. A painful voice, a a terrified voice. It said, "Please don't let him hear me." And right after that, something massive slammed against the basement door from inside. I could not move. My eyes stayed locked on the bedroom door. The hallway outside was completely black, but I knew something was standing there. I could feel it. The air inside my room suddenly felt cold. So cold that I could see my breath. The deep voice whispered again, "Open the door wider." My entire body started shaking. I slowly pulled my blanket closer, trying to stay quiet, trying not to breathe loudly. Then I heard a soft whistle again, but this time it sounded wrong, wet, broken, like somebody whistling with blood inside their mouth. The bedroom door slowly opened wider, crack, and I saw it, a dark shape standing in the hallway. It was too tall. The head almost touched the ceiling. It stood completely still, not moving, not breathing. And then it slowly tilted its head toward me.